Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Side Splitters. My name is Lyle,
And my name is Andy.
and our goal tonight is to leave you in stitches. What's going on, Andy?
Oh, I am trying to adjust to this cold ass weather because, just like Game of Thrones forewarned for 7 fucking seasons, winter is coming, and god damn if it's not breathing down our doorstep now. Um, I had to. It's kind of like a rite of passage from the summer months into the fall months. There's certain things that have to get done, like you find that you're turning on the seat warmers in your car more often. There there is the ceremonial pulling the hoodie out of the closet kind of thing going. Oh wait, which long sleeve vestment would I like to wear this evening? Um, and I've done it. I've officially called it quits for summertime. I have taken my air conditioner out of my window and onto the floor in front of the window.
I just want to point something out here. So you are privileged enough to the fact that you have seat warmers in your vehicle, but
Oh
not
yeah,
privileged enough to have central air.
priorities, man. Jeez.
All right. All right.
I got my first new car for the 2 years ago. I bought it brand new, and that's my first time I've ever had a new car. I've been driving for oh god, 12 years.
Yeah, I still don't know how you drove around that SUV that you had. That thing was just. It certainly looked like a half blind man was driving it. Anyway, yeah, I get what you're saying. I actually went to a local fair thing in town last Sunday. It's called the Harvest Festival. I was kind of looking forward to it because fair food. um,
Whatever you get on a stick.
yeah, exactly. And usually they have some good stuff. Like they had this one Jamaican restaurant that just kind of sets up shop there. And my God, does it have some good food? Like they had all kind of soul food and Jamaican food, like collard greens, fried chicken, uh, oxtail, which I don't care what you say is delicious.
I've
Jamaican
had
style
it.
rice and oh my God, it's so good. Jamaican style rice and beans and all that. My
Jamaican rice and beans. What do they know about rice and beans?
oh, let me tell you something. I'll tell you what they know about rice and beans. They know how to keep rice and beans moist no matter how many times you microwave it. That's what they know about rice and
That that is voodoo, sir, and that culture's known for it.
beans. Well, either way, it works. For those that don't know, my stepdad, I guess you could say, is Jamaican, and he's been around for quite some time. So I grew up on a lot of Jamaican culture, a lot of Jamaican food. I know how to play dominoes. I know how to understand the language somewhat. You know,
So hold on, wait, because what I'm hearing right now is that Jamaicans are black Puerto Ricans because that's what Puerto Ricans do.
dominoes.
They make
Yeah, I know.
the dominoes, the rice and beans. Yeah, no, this is all sounding very familiar to me.
Yeah, kind of. I guess they play reggae music very loud and just sit around playing dominoes and eat rice and beans. Yeah.
Yeah, and reggae music has like the same beat no matter what song it is. The same thing with Puerto Rican music. It's the same beat no matter
Oh,
what song
I,
it is.
I was specifically getting at the point that Puerto Rican's music is reggaeton, which is Spanish reggae. So that kind of balances out if you think about it. I don't know. Thought it was funny. Another coincidence. Um,
Yeah, weird.
yeah, but I've had oxtail. I've had goat. Goat is delicious. I've eaten a lot of curried things. I've eaten a lot of things that have been jerked. Shut up, Andy. Um, so I was
You
really
meant penis pulled.
I was really looking forward to this place, and they weren't there. There was a lot of rain and everything, and just the weather was really shitty over the weekend. But one thing that I did notice is it was kind of cold the day that we ended up going, and I was like, all right, I'm not sure if it's a cold I'm having or allergy issues, but I have to bust out my jacket because I got a congestion thing going on, and just a scratchy throat thing going on and all that. So
Oh yeah.
I got a a very thin zip up jacket kind of thing. And I was just like, fine, I'll wear this. One thing that I did notice that I happen to be very fond of was I can actually zip it up. I've had this jacket for about 3 years now. I've never been able to zip it up.
Sorry. Sorry, I got for some reason when you said that I got Chris Farley singing "Fat Guy in a Little
Oh
Coat,"
my god.
and I could not help myself.
It's a jacket of a band that I am very, very fond of, 311. It was given to me for Christmas a couple years back, and I was just so excited about owning this jacket. My mother-in-law got it for me, and I was just like, "This is amazing. This is an awesome gift. Thank you so much." Didn't care if it fit or not. I put it on, and I was like, "This is awesome. It fits perfectly." Didn't think to try to zip it. Never thought to try to zip it. About 2 or 3 months ago down the road, man, it's kind of cold. Well, like 2 months. It was like February. I was like, damn, it's kind of cold outside. Let me zip my jacket up. Wait a minute. I've never tried this before, and it just wasn't happening. I put it on last Sunday, and I was just like, damn, it's kind of cold. Let me zip it. Not even thinking anything of it because it was clearly going over my chest. No problem. So I was just like, not even thinking anything of it. I was like, oh, let me zip this up because I have another jacket that I wore during winter. So the last jacket I technically wore was my winter jacket, which I can zip up no problem. So I'm like, oh, let me zip this coat up real quick. Go to zip it up, and not thinking anything of it. It goes right up, and I'm like, oh, all right. And then like 5, 10 minutes go by, and I walk past myself in a mirror, and I'm like, this is the first time I ever see myself with this jacket zipped up. I can actually zip this jacket. It was cool for me. Anyway.
Gonna waste away to nothing, Lyle.
Yeah, well. Um. So I mentioned that my mother-in-law got it for me though, and in-laws sometimes coming in a pinch. I wanted to talk something about an in-law incident that I had recently. Um, Friday, I went to. I'm having a blank here. Excuse me.
I'd say I'm like, use your weights.
Yeah, I think it was Friday. It doesn't matter. Sometime before the weekend happened, uh, me and my wife went to her father's house, my father-in-law's house, and we were talking with him for a bit, and he mentioned something to me about going to see a movie on Monday. And I was like, I got work Monday, and that's usually when I handle all my grocery shopping and all that. Because Tuesday I do the podcast, and Wednesday I edit it, and Thursday it's put up. So I don't know, it's kind of in the air. And he was like, all right, well, if you're interested, let me know, because I'd like to go to the movies, and I'd like someone to go with, and I think you'd be interested in this movie. I was like, well, what is it? And does it have to be Monday? He goes, yeah, unfortunately it's a one night only feature. It was called Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders, starring Adam West, Julie Newmar,
Okay.
and Burt Ward. It was a cartoon made based off of the old Adam West series, and it was voiced by
Okay.
three living original characters.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw the trailer for it. I never actually saw the movie yet, though.
the movie just came out Monday in theaters, and then after that, it was released to iTunes, and then like in a week or two, it'll be released to DVD. Let me tell you something. So he asked me if I like Batman, and I was like, yeah, I like Batman. He was like, did you like the old Adam West Batman? I was like, yeah, I liked it. Certainly not the biggest fan in the world of it, but sure, it had its charm. I liked it.
Eh.
And he was like, would you like to go see this movie with me? I'm like, man, you know, that's that's seriously making me consider like I kind of do want to go see that. Like it's not exactly something that I'm pushing babies out of the way to go see, but it's something that I'd be like, yeah, I'd like to see that, especially if it's a one night only thing. So I had to strongly consider it, and I ended up talking with my wife, and she was like, no, you go, I'll go shopping. She was like, it'd be cool for you and my dad to do something anyway. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. So she took care of the shopping and all that. And me and him went last today. I gotta tell you, both of us agreed. Way better than we expected.
Really?
Oh my god, yes. That movie.
It's Adam West, man. I mean, I covered how lovable he was last week.
I know, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up because of how much you covered him last week. And I understand it's Adam West, but I didn't think it was going to be this good. Like I thought it was going to have its moments. I was like, oh, it's probably going to have the same charm as the old movie did, but I didn't think it was going to go as far as there was a scene in it where they made fun of the Dark Knight Rises. I'm gonna just say spoilers right here for anyone that hasn't seen The Dark Knight Rises. Uh, there's a scene where Catwoman is very close and trying to be intimate with Batman. You know how she always did in the old series. And Batman's like, you need to just turn yourself in, give me all the stuff that you stole, and call it a day. What will it take to get you to do that? And she's like, if I give you all the stuff that I stole, you go away with me. We'll go to France, and every day we'll sit at this cafe and we'll sip tea and just watch people walk by. And no one will ever know a thing. They won't know who we are there, and everyone will just think that we vanished. And Robin literally goes, "Holy disappointing ending, Batman." And I was like, "Oh, good for you." It was great. It was just stuff like that was in the movie that I was like, this is great. Had me laughing throughout the whole thing. It was awesome.
Man, that's great. I would love to see that. I always really enjoy the DC animated movies.
Yeah, yeah, seriously, they do a wonderful job. I still haven't seen The Killing Joke yet. I gotta check that out because I love the comic. So yeah, I have to check that out.
They add some things.
Your tone tells me that it sounds kind of terrible.
Not terrible. They definitely try to prove something with this one that they haven't done with their other animated movies. That it's good to think of it in a vacuum. But it's really hard to because you're like, oh, a DC animated movie, I love these. So you're automatically grouping it together with them, but it's definitely its own standalone separate entity.
Well, all right then.
Yeah, I'm trying to be informative without being spoilerific.
I appreciate that. I mean, I guess we shouldn't be spoilerific for the audience, but I was gonna say like I've read the book. Like you don't have to be too non-spoilers, but I get it. Um, Speaking of Killing Joke, though,
Mm.
me and Andy went out to dinner on Saturday.
Oh boy.
Believe it or not, we actually do spend time together occasionally. It's not often. Andy doesn't like me much.
I just live so damn far away.
He just doesn't like me much. This is why we haven't made it out to Chuck E. Cheese yet. And no, we didn't go to dinner at Chuck E. Cheese. That's coming. A promise is a promise. It'll happen. It's just, it's been crazy with busy stuff, and just we haven't had the time. It will come
Yeah.
one day. We promise.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and the holidays are right around the corner too, so we gotta get it in soon before like Thanksgiving and shit.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, I just had a horrible thought, but anyway, I'm gonna just move past it. So we went to dinner, and it was me, my wife, Andy, and his significant other, and we were sitting there, and Andy mentioned something to me, and I'm just gonna you go ahead, you say it. It was your idea. You talk about it.
All right. So, I somehow during the conversation it got brought up about life insurance policies, and
Right.
the place that I work at has a really good policy. I mean, you lose a tooth, you get two free. You you fall you fall out of a moving vehicle, you get Indian burn therapy. Like I don't know, it's a lot of like neat little perks that you wouldn't otherwise think of. But the life insurance policy that it comes with is like 3 times your annual salary. I make a decent living. Like I'm not, um, Glenda got rocks, but I live comfortably. Um,
That rocks.
so I remember when I first got hired on and I was filling out the paperwork for everything like that. I I filled out everything no problem, and then I got to my life insurance paperwork and I'm reading down it and it goes through all the details and everything like that. And there's a beneficiary section, and I'm staring at it. And the HR representative is like talking with me. We're having a conversation, and she notices that I'm kind of lingering on this particular piece of paper. And she's like, "Is there something wrong with the insurance policy layout?" She goes, "Oh no, there's nothing wrong with the layout. I'm just having trouble figuring out who gets the money." And she goes, "Well, it could be significant other if you have any children." I'm like, "Oh no,
None
no,
of that.
yeah, no, that's actually a very long, painful, boring story of why I don't have children." Um, uh,
Very, very long
very long.
and painful.
Yeah, for another day.
Like you thought the traffic thing was bad?
Yeah. Ugh. Um,
Uh,
so yeah, and I was like, no, it's nothing along those lines. She goes, oh well, all right, well, what's the issue? I was like, well, I can't think of anybody I know that deserves the money. Like, not my family, not any like close friends or anything like that. Like, not even my mom. Like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, wow, she's terrible with money. If I give her my life insurance, she's gonna blow it.
so Andy reveals this to me, or at least is beginning to reveal this to me. And I can just see how livid his girlfriend is getting by the second.
Oh yeah, no, she did not appreciate it at all.
Every word that is coming out of his mouth is just making her blood boil more and more. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be good. So he finally starts to drop the bombshell of I don't have anyone listed as a beneficiary, and
Yeah, I left it blank.
before he can even get it out, she is just like, yeah, go ahead, tell him this part, tell him this part, just like kind of like hyping it up and everything, and then she ends up saying like, yeah, he doesn't have a beneficiary, none, no one. I mean, no one. Like she is just living like not a mom, not a brother, not a friend, not. I don't care that it's not me. Like I don't want the money. She made that perfectly clear. She was like, it doesn't matter if it's me or not. Make it somebody. She was like, make it Lyle if you have to. And I certainly don't want his money, but I certainly don't serve it. To be fair, but she was just going on, just make it someone, his mom, his brother, anybody. and,
None of them. None of those vultures deserve my money.
and I just want to say, the best line came out of Andy at this very moment. Because, if I was going to leave it to anybody, I would leave it to Kesha. I would leave all my benefits and money to Kesha. And oh my god, I just instantly pull out my phone as she is still yelling at him, saying, "You know what? Fine, leave it to Kesha. At least it's getting left to someone." I'm pulling out my phone and I'm just typing in my notes. I'll leave my beneficiaries to Kesha, spelled with dollar sign and all. I just yeah.
Yeah, no, that's happened before where like people will like leave money to like celebrities. I mean, I know it's happened a couple times where like this like rich old lady died and she left her money to Sylvester Stallone or like a decent sum of it and he's like I don't even know this woman or I'm sorry he was more like
Oh god. Hey, you don't talk about drinking sign like that, okay?
Look, the man at this point looks like he gets out of bed in the morning and gets the same makeup done by the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh,
Like he is from the Peter Weller school of melting acting.
say what you will, he was the shit in Rocky. Moving on. So speaking of dying careers, what we were getting at with that is Andy then asked me the very important question of Andy.
So I noticed that a lot of our culture, and across the board on several other cultures as well, people like to put emphasis on weddings, right? And I know it's this time of year where, sure there are summertime weddings, but there are definitely some decent amount of fall weddings too. So people know the pain. There's always the planning, and this has to be like this. There's themes. It has to be perfect. The right people have to come. Yeah. Everything like that. Like people put a lot of effort and money into this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? What seems unfair is that people don't put the same amount of effort into funerals that they do into weddings. Like it's the same routine. It's the viewing. It's the priest comes out, then people share some kind words or some fond memories. There's a whole lot of crying, maybe some music, and then they put you in the ground. And then maybe you go to like, some cafe afterwards where you have some good old fashioned Southern victuals. But it depends on the person and the situation. So, what I pose to Lyle is I'm like, if you can plan your funeral, how it's going to go down, like, how would you actually do it to be different from a standard funeral?
And I still really don't have an answer.
Really?
I mean, here's what I kind of came up with. Did I ever plan my own funeral? No, I've obviously never planned my own funeral. However, I have certainly been to enough funerals in my time that I have always thought to myself, when I go, I would want for this to happen and this to happen and this to happen. Unfortunately, it was always you know, this is kind of sad, but I still want it to happen because it'd be very in touch with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just certain songs that would get played or whatever, because I'm very fond of music and all that.
Mm.
One thing that I always kind of thought would be interesting, and I actually have thought about this long before you ever posed this question to me, and I'm kind of standing by it. I would like for all my friends to come up and roast me.
Really?
Yes.
I would have fun with that.
Yeah, I got nothing to worry about with you, old man.
I am on board.
Let's just say I you're going to be the roastee, not the roaster. Before I will. You old fuck. Anyway.
fun with it.
Oh, I'm sure you would. And that's exactly the point. Like anyone that knows me knows that I have a great sense of humor, and or at least I like to think that I do. But they know I don't. You can't take me serious about pretty much anything. Look, on this show, I am clearly, the one that kind of gracefully bows out. Andy is the funny one, okay? I understand how the dynamic between the two of us work. I know he's the funny one. I let him have his funnies, and I sit back and go, you know what? Let's anchor this all in. Let's edit him when he says very racist things about football teams, and let's just, keep the whole show fun for the whole family. You know what I mean? So
Well, very racist, but yeah.
I, I certainly know how to say, you know what, you've bested me in the funnies. Go ahead, you be the lead funnier here. Funny,
The funnier.
funny. Um, so in other words, what I'm getting at here is I certainly have a fun sense of humor. I can usually take a joke pretty well. I don't take myself serious ever, and I usually tell people don't ever take me serious because that's boring. So what I'm getting at is I think it could be fun, and I think it would be very memorable on myself. Like people that go to this funeral to pay respects for someone that they know should know that I enjoyed to laugh. I enjoyed to laugh, and I enjoyed to make people laugh. One of the ways I do that is usually by making fun of myself. So what better way than to have my friends make fun of me, probably the jokes that I would have loved to come up with about myself, and making everyone laugh. It's a little demented for a funeral, sure, I get that, but that's what I got. That's what I would 100% want if I ever were to plan my own funeral.
No, that's fine. I'm already trying to think of material here for the roast of Lyle's funeral.
Uh, wow, really, guys? I mean, you couldn't spring for the casket that looked like the to-go box?
I was gonna say, well, it was kind of short-sighted for them to only put 6 handles on Lyle's coffin. You're definitely gonna need more than 6 guys to carry his ass in here.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh, that's great. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much how it would go for me. How about you? How would you plan yours?
Oh man, so there is the legitimate way I would do it and the fantasy way that I would do it. Um, Definitely, no matter which scenario you go to, I believe that the one thing, and I know my girl's gonna hate me for saying this,
Oh,
but I definitely do not want a priest at my funeral. Like, I don't want one anywhere near my funeral, both for serious and for play. No priest at my funeral.
play?
For play. Like, I am not even kidding about that. I really do not want one at my funeral. I was never close to the church in life. I'll be damned if I'll be that way in death. Um,
Well, if there was ever a time to come clean about it, now
yeah,
it's it on the internet.
well, I mean, it's true, and I've said it all my life. Like, I really have. I want my passing to be a time of, from close friends and relatives to have a remembrance period. Like, I don't want it to be a church sermon. Like,
Right.
that's an entirely separate matter.
I mean, I'm kind of with you on a part of it. I am by no means a religious person either. But the thing is with me is I know a lot of family and stuff like that are for me, and that shouldn't have any effect on me. But I know a reason people tend to put religion into a funeral is if not for the person, then to help them cope with, help the survivors cope with the loss of their loved one, and
Survivors, that's a good choice for the people that die after me.
well, whatever. Like if for some reason I were to go before my mom, I know my mom would want to have someone say a couple, like maybe at least the Lord's Prayer or something like that. I know my mom. I know she would at least want that, and she
Right.
knows me, and she would know that I wouldn't want too much, and I'm hoping that my friends and family will respect my beliefs and keep it on the minimum, but just do what they have to necessary for them. You know,
hmm
that's the way I look at it, at least. I mean, that's me. Anyway, go on.
No, if honestly, if I were to have anybody like stand over the proceedings of me being buried, I would want it to be Hulk Hogan. I would want it to be the Hulkster, just standing up there in like his cut off like papal robe, and just tell it like it was. Be
Well,
like,
it wouldn't be Hulk Hogan. It would be Terry. Help me out here, wrestling fan. Terry
oh, Terry,
Newman or some boring name.
yeah, I would rather it just be Hulk Hogan.
But he can't go by Hulk Hogan anymore. Terry Bollea. Bollea.
The how about just the real American? We'll call him the real American.
Jesus.
No, but I want him to stand up there and be like, let me tell you something, brother. We come in the body of one of the greatest Hulkamaniacs. Now, who has something to say?
For those at home listening, Andy just did the old gesture of Hulk waving his hand in circles and then putting it up to his ear and then acting as if he was listening for something of response. Brilliant, sir.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I would like him to preside over the proceedings. I kind of want, I don't know how they do it, but I want the casket to drive itself to the podium.
Yeah, so does the pallbearers at my funeral.
Yeah. Something in common there. At least I'm courteous to plan about it ahead of time.
Oh,
Shit.
no. I'm certainly not. You guys are going to work to get to this comedy fest.
You know those Wi-Fi jammers that they have at some schools and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah, I want one at the funeral.
Of course you do, you evil bastard.
I do. No Wi-Fi during my funeral.
But how am I supposed to live tweet it to all of our Side Splitters fans?
They will get caught up after the proceedings.
There's no Side Splitters without Andy. Just made it perfectly clear. You're the funny one. There's no Andy, there's no Side Splitters. There's just sides. And they're round sides, sir. Very round sides.
Like lumpy potatoes. Oh, yeah. No, I actually would do the Tupac thing. I would just pre-record a lot of material that you would splice into future episodes.
Well, good news. We're already doing that.
Yeah, I would have the self-driving casket, Hulk Hogan presiding over, no Wi-Fi. Honestly, because it's happening more and more in video games these days that I can only imagine it would be commonplace later in life. But you know how you play some of the games that make like the saved like AI program of like how you play? Like I noticed one of the Forza games has it where it keeps track of like how you play the game and it makes like a shadow of your play style.
Of your play style or like of your personal best?
Of your play style.
Okay, I'm not too familiar with that. I'm familiar more with like the Mario Kart system, where they do a ghost of your personal best on that stage.
Yeah, no, this keeps track of like how you normally approach turns and stuff like that. They also have it for Killer Instinct.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like a shadow thing that you could do. It's like shadow practice mode, where essentially you just fight AI and it picks up on your play patterns, like how often you use combo breakers, how often you use specific combos, how often you jump, how often you crouch, when you block, like all that other stuff. It keeps track of that, and then
That's
you
really
can
cool.
create. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I like the concept, but like I would want at my funeral a little kiosk set up with a video game console, and you have to play me. You have to play against me. And you know what? Just because I'm dead doesn't mean that I will lose, because I was a bitch to play against in real life. I'll be damned if that's going to change when I'm dead.
I mean, to be fair, is anyone going to want to beat you?
Sure.
Why? They're there to mourn your death. I'm assuming it's going to be a fighting game because I know it's not going to be Madden.
No, it's not.
So it's going to be a fighting game, and it's essentially going to be a game where our job is to kill you, and we're there to mourn your death. I don't think anyone is going to want to kill you, be it virtually or not.
Get wrecked, noobs.
Oh, just
don't have the balls to beat a dead man.
Okay, yeah, if you had like a pre-recorded, like, again, going back to the whole Tupac thing, have like a pre-recorded hologram of yourself just sitting there going, you don't have the balls to be the dead man. Like you can't handle this. Get wrecked, noobs. Just saying like a bunch of like one-liners. That would be cool.
6 feet under, and I can still tell you're 6 inches short. Oh!
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. But yeah, just stuff like that. Like I don't know. If I thought about it, I would probably do like the wedding pageantry. Like have like the streamers up, maybe like maybe a flower girl. I don't know.
Would you throw
Definitely Hulk Hogan. That would never change.
throw a bouquet of white roses into the audience?
Lilies.
You're next.
They would be lilies.
Just point to Grandma. You're next. Or even better, the youngest person catches it and it's just like, oh, you're next. And Grandma turns around and goes, yeah, you're next.
You little bastard.
I'll outlive you all. That's enough about that. I do have a coworker quote of the week though, so I wanted to jump into that real quick.
Man, you have some interesting coworkers.
There's a lot of time for talking.
Fair.
So yeah, this week I have it came down to, I'm sorry, it came down to two, and I wasn't sure which one to go with, but I think this is clearly the superior one, and this is the one I'm going to go with, and just leave it at that. We got a new microwave at work, okay, and this one, the old one we had was one of the ones where you just turned a dial to decide how many minutes you were using it for.
Dial.
Like one dial adjusted the power level of the microwave between low, medium, and high, and the other dial was to turn it up for minutes, and that was the only features of the microwave. It was not a button lock or anything like that. It was very old. So clearly we needed a new one because this one just stopped heating things up. Like you would turn it on, and it was just a light show for your food for like 3 minutes. So we got a new one, and it's all digital and everything. And somebody at work says today, because he went to go hit the 6 button, hoping to get a 6 followed by a 0 for 60 seconds. And he in fact got 6 minutes when he hit 6. And it just started going. He's like, I fucking hate this thing. I'm like, have you never owned a new microwave before? Like, that's how a lot of them are. He goes, well, no, it's not even that. He goes, microwaves, and this is the quote, microwaves are fucking stupid. You type in 99 and it goes for 99 seconds. But if you type in 100, it goes for 60 seconds. And legit, me and my other coworker just looked at each other and went, damn. He's right.
Wow.
Stupid.
Yeah, no, couldn't argue with that, wouldn't know how. Although, real quick, the one thing that I will say about microwaves in general is that it has a popcorn button on it, right? I have never, ever, ever, ever cooked a bag of popcorn using the popcorn button on the microwave, whose one job is to pop popcorn. I've never had it actually pop it without burning the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You had one job, microwave popcorn button, and you failed.
That's the same thing with the baked potato button. Like, you'd put a baked potato in there, hit potato, and it never cooks it all the way.
Well, that's your problem right there. You're baking a potato in the microwave. You can't bake with radiation. It just does not work that way.
So now we're going to do the football picks.
Goody, because I'm waiting to see how badly I failed this past week.
I am very much looking forward to this one. It's a fun one, and yeah, okay,
yeah.
So, here's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna just flat out say it was Andy versus Ron Jaworski, the ESPN expert. I actually had someone send me in a list last week for football picks and completely forgot to mention it. So I will definitely do it this week. He gave me his picks for week 6, which is next week's, the week we'll be discussing today. So that's cool. We'll definitely get him in there today for this episode, and we'll go from there. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay.
Game 1, Thursday night game, 49ers and Cardinals. Andy picked 49ers. Jaworski picked Cardinals. I said the 49ers would be my upset pick for that week. The 49ers lost. The Cardinals won.
Ooh, all right.
That's a point for Jaworski, for old Ronnie.
Old Ronnie.
Next game, it was the Eagles versus the Lions. You guys both picked the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles, in fact, lost their first game. And I just want to bring something to everyone's attention real quick. I don't like the Eagles. I never have. I never will. When they lose, it's almost as much excitement as my team winning. So there's that. And by the way, the Giants lost. So this was something for me to hold on to. And Andy picked the Giants, by the way, and they lost. And he picked the Packers, which is who they went against. So that's another loss for Ronnie. Or another loss for Andy, another win for Ronnie. We're just going to throw that out there. So that's
Wow.
3 losses for Andy. Okay? But I just want to, one more thing about the Eagles game. You won't care about this part, but I do. The big thing was their brand new quarterback, Carson Wentz. Everyone's going nuts about him, all the Eagles fans, some of the experts. Oh my God, he's so good, he's so good. Has not thrown an interception all year. He might beat Tom Brady's record of going the longest without throwing an interception with his NFL debut. Not only did they lose, they lost by 1 point, and they were down by 1 point, going down the field. Carson Wentz goes back for a pass, throws it into the air, and it is intercepted by the Lions, clinching the win for them. And there was just nothing more satisfying than seeing that play.
Wow.
That is all I will say on it. Okay.
Wow.
So next we have the Bears and the Colts. Andy picked the Bears. Ron picked the Colts. The Bears lost. The Colts won.
Oh.
We have the Bengals versus the Cowboys. Both of you guys picked the Bengals. The Bengals lost. We have the Giants versus the Packers. Like I said, the Giants lost. Andy picked the Giants. Ron Trowoski picked the Packers. We have the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Um, Buccaneers won that one. You guys both picked the Panthers. So Andy lost again.
Wow. Gotten destroyed this past week. Good God.
And it just makes me go, man, I almost want to come back and start doing this again because things are starting to look normal. And then this happens. Andy won the game with the Patriots versus the Browns, and I will say this: you guys both picked the Patriots, so it's not really saying much. But I did say that I have in my notes here: Brady is either going to throw for 400 plus yards or break the record and get 8 touchdown passes in one game. He in fact threw for 406 yards, and he got benched early before the game ended because they were so far ahead that they were just like, let's preserve him so he doesn't get injured, without a need to have him on the field.
Right.
So yeah, I was right.
Smart. Pretty smart.
I was right. He destroyed the Browns. So yeah, Andy won that game, but so did Ron Jaworski, Uh, Andy won the game with the Vikings. They played against, who did the Vikings play against? The Texans. Okay, they blew them out. The Vikings are the only undefeated team in football right now. Jaworski also picked the Vikings. Andy picked the Vikings. Vikings won. Not a big deal. You guys both won it. Same thing with the Steelers against the Jets. You guys both picked the Steelers. So it's a win, but it's also a win for Jaworski. Doesn't look good for you. The Raiders as well. The Raiders beat the Steelers beat the Jets. I'm pretty sure I said that. I just want to make sure I say the teams that they're beating. The Raiders beat the Chargers. You guys both picked the Raiders. Not a big deal. So that about covers them all. That is all the games that Andy has either lost or tied because the Titans over the Dolphins, the Redskins over the Ravens, the Falcons over the Broncos, the Bills over the Rams, and that's it. That was enough to put you way ahead of Ron Jaworski, destroying him and preserving your spot as some weird voodoo master when it comes to football picks.
Wait, are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you. Some of the picks you made, just to name one, the Falcons and the Broncos. The Broncos were undefeated. The Falcons, they don't look bad this year, but it's the Broncos. They're the Super Bowl champions. Everyone picked the Broncos. You picked the Falcons.
And the Falcons won it, huh?
The final score was 23-16, which isn't saying much, but this is supposed to be the best defense in the league.
Wow.
I'm like, you gotta be. I'm watching the games as they're unfolding. Andy, you won this matchup before the 8:30 game.
Wow.
Like you still had so like I'm watching and for example the Bears and the Colts. I'm like the Bears, that was a close game. The Bears have not won a game yet. You picked the Bears for some reason. For whatever reason, you picked the Bears. They lost by 6 points in the last minute and a half.
Wow.
They were winning the game up until, the Colts had the ball. They had like a minute and a half, 2 minutes left. They go down the field, they score a touchdown. And the Bears couldn't come back and score another one in time. So I'm watching that, and I'm like, I'm going to watch this because if the Bears win it, it's going to be fucking amazing. But that don't even have to happen. Andy already won. So that's how crazy it was.
So what was the overall record?
The overall record, let's see, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins, which would put you at 8-6 because there's 14 games. And he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. Okay, so it was a little closer than I thought. He was 7-7. You were 8-6. So only off by 1 game.
Wow.
Still, that's it's no easy feat, man. You are on par with the experts.
Yeah, take that, Mr. Ham and Cheese with light oil.
So I had to do that. I had to over dramatize it because I'm just like, this is awesome. Like I can't. He beat
Jesus Christ. You had me going there, man. I thought I got destroyed this week, and I'm like, all right, well, yeah, all right. I just don't know what I'm talking about then.
Yeah, I get it, Lyle. I get it. I'm not that good. Whatever. No, I had to stretch that one out a bit because I'm like, oh, he has to realize how that was just crazy. Like, so let me just pull up the experts here. Oh, good. All the experts picked already this week.
Oh, good.
So, nope. I'm sorry. This is last week. Okay. By the way, while we have this page open, you would have tied with Graziano, who was the expert previously. We're not going to do this, but I'm just going to mention it this week. The best of the experts was 9-5. So you were only 1 game away from being the best. And that could have easily have been the Colts and the Broncos game because everyone picked the Colts and the Bears game because everyone picked Colts across the board. So if the Bears would have won, you would have been the only one to pick that team. Therefore, you would have been 9-5. Everyone else would have been 9-5 as well. You know what I mean? Or no, I'm sorry, they would have been 8-6 because they would have lost. Right. So that 1 game was the deciding factor.
Dare you, Bears!
And the guy that went 9-5 was the only guy to pick the Falcons over the Broncos.
Ha!
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
The true expert.
Yeah. No one picked the Titans over the Dolphins. No one picked the Buccaneers over the Panthers. I mean, neither did you, but still. No one picked the Giants over the Packers, which I was kind of upset about. That game was kind of close. There was one person picked the Redskins over the Ravens, which was another one that you got. Like the picks that you came up with were just mind blowing.
That's just how I see him, man. I call him as I see him.
You keep it up because phenomenal job so far. Ooh, oh no. We might have an issue here, Andy.
What's that?
I don't think they don't have them up for week 6 yet.
Oh, they probably don't do them until tomorrow?
Oh, they must because I guess if we usually see another reason we need to record on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays. Well, no big deal. We have a couple of experts for week 6 from another website. This is actually all of the experts from all of the websites. It's just all organized together. So
I want to go against the Asian one.
It looks like CBS Sports is the one that has them up. Here's a good one. NFL.com fan picks. And this takes like the most voted ones.
Okay.
NFL.com. I feel like this should be every week.
Just like pretty much me against the NFL world.
You against the actual fans of NFL.
I'll take on whoever, man. I know what I'm bullshitting about.
Yeah, we all know, Andy. We all know. All right, so All right, let's get it started. Let's get it underway here. Okay, so yeah, you're right. On Thursday, my birthday, um, the game is the Denver Broncos at the San Diego Chargers. Who do you got?
Okay, so the difference between these two is that while they may be headstrong, the Broncos are pretty headstrong. Chargers are pretty headstrong. Um, in this battle, though, the Broncos have more weight to throw around than the Chargers do. Because a horse is not going to care if a guy is running at him full steam because the horse has got him pound for pound, and I guess horsepower. Um, Broncos can trample Chargers, so I'm going to go with the Broncos on that game.
Broncos. Ah, that wouldn't be because the Broncos were undefeated before, would you?
No, I mean, legitimately, if you're having a group of guys running at a group of horses, the horses are not going to flinch, and the guys will be worse for wear for it. They will get trampled.
I don't even know why I asked that question. Um, so okay, Broncos. Next up, we have the Eagles versus the Redskins. Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I think that much like the Redskins versus the Ravens game, Redskins essentially have a good affinity with nature, the animals they're in, and what have you.
What have you?
What have you. I don't think Sitting Bull or whatever his name is gives a flying feather about what Eagles want to do for their own time because damn it, they are their masters. So I'm gonna go with the Redskins on that game.
Redskins.
Yes.
My man. I'm sorry, I'm excited when you pick against the Eagles. Next up, we have the Steelers at the Miami Dolphins. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Miami Dolphins.
Okay, just because of the home field advantage, I'm actually going to give that one to the Dolphins. Steelers have a lot to go through when they're trying to build platforms out in the middle of the ocean. The Dolphins will already have them probably scoped out, and the ambush party would be ready for it. No more Browns against the Dolphins. The Steelers will not get their oil rig set up, so the Dolphins will prevent that. I'm going to say the Dolphins.
Dolphins. You got it. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Chicago Bears.
It's October.
Right.
We're starting to get into the colder weather season.
Right.
So the Bears are probably going to start hibernating like any week now. And if people are visiting their areas of rest, they're just going to get like a coup de grace on them. I mean, they're essentially prone. They're not defending themselves. It's anybody can just wander into their cave and kill them in their sleep. And Jaguars are crafty about doing that sort of thing. So
if I could stop you right now, are you going with the Jaguars?
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry. I wanted to see if I could do it. It's not often I can. It's not often I can. Okay, next up we have the Cleveland Browns at the Tennessee Titans.
I don't want to seem like I'm, for lack of a better term, no pun intended, shitting on the Browns. But I don't really know what a Brown is supposed to do against a Titan. I suppose in this matchup, so the people that usually worshipped Titans were the Greeks. They had the largest empire in like all of Europe, and I mean, they made a habit of going into the territory of Browns and taking things over. So I would imagine that wouldn't stop here. So I'm going to say the Titans over the Browns.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, that time I wasn't really entirely sure where you were going with it. It's the Titans.
Titans, yes.
Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the New England Patriots.
I think that because again they're going to be at the Patriots are going to have the home field advantage on this one. If it was the other way around, I would probably say that the Bengals would win that one. But I think because they're visiting the Patriots, when you have the only reason a Bengal would even visit a Patriot is in a zoo. Like Bengals are not the masters of their own freedom at that point. Like they were brought over, I guess, by people hired by the Patriots to bring them in the first place. So I don't think that they're actually going to be able to get a win out of things that way. So the Kitty Cats are behind bars. I'm going to say the Patriots are going to win that.
Patriots. Fascinating. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the Buffalo Bills.
Now this is another one where the teams are actually pretty similar to each other.
Oh,
Yeah, because Buffalo Bill was around the same time that the Gold Rush and the Frontier days were actually occurring. So I don't know if he was actually a 49er himself. I forget how the lore goes with it, but I do know that given that even if he was, he'd be a 49er with supernatural abilities. So I would say that he would have that advantage over the 49ers. So I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Hmm?
Alrighty. Next up, we have the New York Giants at the. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Baltimore Ravens at the New York Giants. Sorry.
Baltimore Ravens at the Giants. I think that the one advantage that the Ravens might have against the Giants is the idea that, Giants don't really care about the aerial advantage because they're pretty large as it is. So the team that would mostly have that advantage can't really rely on it. They're kind of small. I don't think they'll do a whole lot of damage. Yeah, like some of their best abilities wouldn't actually work on Giants. I'm gonna say actually the Giants are not gonna give two shits about the Ravens, so the Giants are gonna win
My man.
that.
Against the Eagles with the Giants. That's what I'm talking about. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams. I gotta get used to that. At the Detroit Lions.
Nah, because I mean between the two, Rams don't travel in a big enough packs to be able to take down even just one lion. Lions are way more formidable creatures than Rams are. And I mean, granted, both of them are used in ceremonial sacrifice. I mean, who doesn't have a lion's mane when they're doing a voodoo circle? But ram horns are way more common. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say that the Lions are gonna beat the Rams on that one.
The Lions.
Yes.
Okay. Next up, we have the who's Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints.
Panthers and
I know it's funny, right? What?
it still gets me every time. New Orleans Saints.
Right.
Yeah, and the Panthers are at the Saints.
Yes.
Okay. So the Saints are probably not even paying attention to the Panthers. They're probably doing, maybe missionary work in a foreign land or something like that. They're kind of have their eyes occupied on other things. They probably wouldn't even notice the large cat until it was too late. I would say that that point, then the Panthers have the element of surprise. So yeah, probably Panthers.
Panthers to win that one. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Oakland Raiders. Now, I'm sorry. I almost called them the Los Angeles Raiders. They used to be the Los Angeles Raiders. Last year, the Los Angeles Rams were the St. Louis Raiders. Rams. St. Louis. God. So, I mean, the Raiders haven't been the Los Angeles Raiders since like the 90s, but for some reason I always call them that. Anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Oakland Raiders. Go.
I suppose that Raiders, in order for them to get their jobs done, unlike the Chargers, they do have a hierarchy within their ranks. Like, sure, they like pillaging and stuff like that, just a lot like the Vikings do. But whereas the Vikings are kind of brothers in arms about it, Raiders are kind of every man for himself, and they need that strong leadership to keep them together. Which is where the Chiefs come in because they are experts at being able to dictate stuff. So I'm going to say strategically they'll probably take the Raiders apart. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs on that one.
Chiefs on that one. Okay. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Green Bay Packers.
Brokeback Mountain.
Oh my God. Oh, dude.
Cowboys don't ever like to admit that they're Packers sometimes, but they they really can be.
An answer, Andy.
Sorry. Yeah. So, given this scenario, they're at the Packers.
That is correct.
Okay. So, I think that the Packers are going to, lure in the Cowboys with a false sense of security, probably, laid them down in a tent overlooking a cliffside full of sheep, and then the next thing they know, the Cowboys are going back home with a
Oh
with
my.
a sack full of regret. So I'm going to say the Packers are going to get the drop on
Okay.
them.
The Packers. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Seattle Seahawks.
Falcons and Seahawks. Ooh, so far out of all of them, this one is actually the closest one for me.
You don't say.
I do say, because Falcons are pretty good birds of prey. They're intelligent. They're surgical with their strikes. Seahawks, on the other hand, while are not as aggressive, they can be competent. Um, and they're no slouch in the air either. Neither one of them could have the aerial advantage on the other, but I think just because Falcons are natural hunters, I think they'll be, well, yeah, Falcons are actually used to dealing with other birds of prey, whereas Seahawks are kind of just picking on fish. I'm going to say that the Falcons are going to have the advantage in that fight.
Okay. I love it. I love how you do it. I hate when I'm going against you and you do it, but I love when I'm not and you do it. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans.
Oh no! See, here is the problem. I think the natural enemy of the Colts is the Texan. I think that the Colts, while faster on their feet, are going up against people that are trained to deal with them from a very young age at that. Yeah. So I'm actually going to say that the Colts don't have any chance in this game. It's going to go way into the favor of the Texans.
Fascinating. And finally, last but not least, we have the New York Jets at the Arizona Cardinals.
See, whereas the Jets against the Ravens, I was saying that the Ravens would be too crafty and like too small to be able to pick up on the on their targeting computers and everything like that on the Jets. But like the same really wouldn't apply to the Cardinals. I don't even think it would be a fight because the Cardinals couldn't be aggressive at all. Like they wouldn't even put up a challenge. It probably could still clog the engines, but they're stupid birds anyway. They probably wouldn't even get to anywhere near. They're finicky, fickle. Yeah, no, I'd say the Jets are going to win that one.
The Jets are going to win that one. Interesting. And just to bring you up on some knowledge here,
Hmm?
I am confirming at the very moment. Yeah, the Jets never played the Ravens this year.
Who they play then? Falcons?
Seahawks.
Seahawks, right.
Yeah.
I knew it was a bird of some kind.
Fair enough. Just real quick, like I said, we have a guy that sent his picks in. It's Eric from Countdown to Geek Town. Yay!
Oh, yay!
So I'm gonna just run down him real quick. He has the Broncos over. Yeah, I'm just gonna say the team names that he's picking. I'm not even gonna bother with the teams. So he has the Broncos, the Eagles, the Steelers, the Bears, the Titans, the Patriots. For the who are they going against? The Bills versus the 49ers. 49ers versus the Bills. He didn't give me a selection for that. I don't know if he forgot or what, but you picked the Bills, so I'm gonna have to give him the 49ers just to
Okay.
make things interesting.
Okay.
I mean that's fair, right? Like,
No, that's totally fair.
okay. If he wanted the Bills, he should have picked the Bills. Okay, so he has the Giants, the Lions, Saints, the Raiders, Packers, Seahawks, Texans, Cardinals. Um, and because it's so difficult to find, or at least I think it is, the NFL fan picks of the week are Broncos, Eagles, Steelers, Jaguars, Titans, Patriots, Bills, Giants, Lions, Saints, Raiders, Packers, Seahawks, Texans, Cardinals. So, what that means
Wow.
is there is quite a few that they pick different, that both competitions here pick differently than you.
Oh yeah.
So it could turn out to be. I think this could be anyone's week. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see the ending of this one. Just because of how they have been so far. Andy has only lost 1 week so far, folks, and that is the week that I did not tell him the winners of the previous week. That's what I'm holding true to of why he lost it. and there you are. But
I'll stand by that one too.
that is the yeah, that is the picks for week 6. Uh, I'm telling you right now, go to your local bookie and put it in ink because you're going to win some money. That is not a guarantee. This is Side Splitters does not condone gambling illegally. Please do not do
Yeah,
that. Please do
yeah.
not must for your losings.
If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800 Who Gives It.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I guess what is left here is to what other than clickbait news?
I was hoping you were going to say that because as much as fun as it is to sleep with celebrities, I like to hear about stuff that's going on around the world.
Absolutely. So in tradition of clickbait news, we usually do about 3 stories, but I kind of have a bonus story for you. The
Okay.
last time we did clickbait news, it was episode 10. Because it was episode 10, we had an all Florida edition. Um, it can easily be all Florida every week.
It really could. They have some strange people that live there.
But I was like, I'm gonna look a little deeper and see if I can find some better stories from elsewhere. This one, however, it's pretty short. I'm not even going to make Andy guess what was said or anything like that. It's just going to be, I'm going to tell you it, uh, and I'm going to read a little bit of the article, not much, just a little bit, just to laugh about it, and we're going to move on. The article reads, the headline: Florida man braves hurricane to yell out "Dicks out for Harambe" live on TV. Now, if you are on the internet at all, pretty much these days, you will know that Harambe is in fact a legend, a god amongst gods in the internet world. And for whatever reason, the saying "dicks out for Harambe" is becoming quite popular, especially in Reddit.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
mean,
why.
Harambe is a martyred saint.
Yeah, somehow. And he wasn't even from New Orleans. Um,
See what you did
so
there.
yeah, I just it's funny to us internet folk, but I guess to the people of the news, they were just like, I don't know why he did this. So this is how they wrote the article. Again, I'm just going to get very quickly into it. A local West Palm Beach news station's live weather coverage of Hurricane Matthew was interrupted by a young man who urged viewers to take out and display their genitals for Harambe, the gorilla shot and killed by zookeepers in Cincinnati. No, that is not what happened.
Yeah,
Some troll
no.
jumped in front of a camera and said "dicks out for Harambe" because it's funny on the internet. That's what happened. No one, no one interrupted a newscast for a young man who urged viewers to take out and display their genitals for a gorilla that was shot and killed by zookeepers. No, none of that happened. He just said "dicks out for Harambe." Okay, I know it means the same thing, but it really doesn't. Anyway, just thought that was fun.
Wait. We're doing dicks out for Harambe? Oh shit.
There he goes. He is pulling his genitals out. You stop right now, mister. Oh, God!
Oh, oh, sorry. I thought we were doing this.
I have seen much more than I wanted to of Andy, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, just my knob.
And that is the last time I am using the camera function. So I did get one Florida story. Aside from that one, I got this one because it looked like it was kind of popular, and I was kind of hoping that you would have a chance of actually guessing the proper thing.
Okay.
This one, because I seen it on some social media sites and everything. I'm like, oh, this is actually clickbait. So a woman with active warrants hides her identification somewhere during a traffic stop. Where was it?
Oh, it had to be in her cooter. She hid it in her ham locker.
Have you heard the story?
No, but that's honestly that's one of the only reasons where if I were to ever want to be a woman, that is what I would do 100% of the time
Just
is
hide
hide
shit
stuff. Is just hide stuff in my vagine.
away. Okay, this was in Hollywood, Florida. Yes, it was in her vagina. Uh,
Her gut locker. Her ham wallet. curtains.
Ham wallet.
Ham wallet, yes.
Okay. So, in Hollywood, Florida, a Miami woman was arrested over the weekend in Hollywood after she was riding in a vehicle that was pulled over in connection with a hit and run. According to an arrest report, police discovered that a passenger in a driver's vehicle, Takara Nalden, 28, had an active warrant out for the Broward Sheriff's Office for operating a vehicle without a valid driver's license. Oh, so the warrant was actually for her operating a vehicle without a valid license.
Okay.
That's funny. Uh, she was arrested Saturday and taken to the BSO main jail for processing. Police said she told medical staff at the jail that she had shoved her Nebraska ID card up her vagina during the traffic stop. And an X-ray machine at the jail confirmed that she had a foreign object in there, and she was taken to a hospital for medical clearance. Police said that she pulled down her pants while she was leaving the jail, squatted, and urinated in public.
Wow.
She was then taken to Memorial Regional Hospital and then taken back to jail, and she faces charges from the warrant as well as additional charges of indecent exposure in public. And just so you could see a picture of this winner, because I like to show this to you every once in a while.
Oh yeah, let's see who. Oh my. That
uh,
is that is a hell of a tattoo of Maleficent on her throat.
she has Maleficent on her throat. She has a biohazard sign on her temple. She has several piercings on her face that don't belong where piercings should be. Her eyebrows are clearly tattooed. Her hairline is far beyond receding.
And she looks like one of the aliens, the long neck aliens in the Star Wars that made the clone army.
Oh my god, she does!
Yes.
That's great. What was the one woman's name? Wasn't there like one of them that was kind of popular? Queen or something?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't watch that movie. Um,
Either way, so the one disturbing thing that I have about this story is that she shoved an ID up her coot, and um like those things are either hard card plastic or they're laminated, and I could not imagine like sliding that in my penny slot and then not getting like damage from that. Like, could you imagine getting cut on the sides like with that? Like, oh, it's bad
I
enough if you.
yeah, I never thought of that before. That's a good point.
Yeah, like it's not exactly a round, comfortable object. It's not a detachable bed knob. Like,
I
it's
mean,
not supposed to go there.
to be fair, maybe it was um, how shall we say? Maybe it was prepped for tornado season, and clearly, if she just let it hang out in bare exposure to the wind, depending on how much flappage she got, that's how strong the winds were.
I want to know is how did she get the time to be able to do that? Like
That's what I'm
with the
saying.
officer
What
coming
I'm,
to the car.
what I'm getting at is maybe she was just incredibly wide open, if you catch my drift here.
Oh, there's no tread left on the tires.
Oh, no, 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 no. The tread is long, long gone.
She made a clone army the old-fashioned way.
Yes, yes, she did. Uh,
Well,
I,
I feel bad. I feel bad for her and her uterine stitches if she had to have any.
it makes me wonder too if she had any like piercings down there because of all the ones she had on her face. She's the type that would probably like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get everything pierced.
Oh, wait, trippy. She gave birth to herself.
I haven't thought of it that once again, Andy. you take it to the next level. Yeah,
Mind
you're right.
blown.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna move on from that
Okay.
one. So we have Russian. Let's keep in tune with the idea of tracking weather. Russian meteorologists, okay, and they're trapped. They're trapped on a remote island. All right. Why are
Okay.
what are they trapped by?
Um,
Just to give you an idea of how remote. It's 2,800 miles from Moscow.
2,800 miles from Moscow.
Yes.
Um, they are trapped by a bee.
A B.
A bee, bee. I mean, they don't have bees in their country. At least I don't think they do because it's always a blizzard over there. So I'd imagine they've never seen a bee. They don't know what it is. It could be anything. They probably think it's an alien.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt here and say you're close because it starts with a B, kind of. It
Okay.
is a typically cold area, and your first guess is a B.
Yeah.
This is why I gave you the easy one first. It's polar bears, Andy. Polar bears.
Oh.
Got
Oh,
it.
wait. No, they're not really Russian then.
What do you mean?
Because I mean, I'm pretty sure that is actually an Olympic sport in Russia. Is like shirtless bear wrestling.
So,
First we have the vodka, and then we wrestle bear. We
right.
put him in full Nelson. He goes to sleep.
I like the
Sometimes you bop nose with newspaper. You tell bear, you'll say, "No, bear, this is my vodka. You cannot have
Did they name the bears?
it." Of course, this one is Yuri and this one is Ivan. Yuri, get your finger out of his butt.
So, sometimes you can't get out of the office because your email inbox is overflowing, and sometimes it's because there's a pack of deadly polar bears outside the door. 5 meteor. That was terrible.
They must have been women.
No, those wrestle bears too. Five.
Oh no, no, they are ordered by lonely men in America for new brides.
Well, that's only the ones that have wrestled bears one time. In which case, you go to America, get ordered as a bride, and then form an awesome band. Shout outs to I wrestled a bear once. Um, so 5 meteorologists posted on a remote. Yeah. By the way, I just want to let you know I got a message from someone last week that actually knew who Flaw was, the band that I brought up from the Scorpion King soundtrack. Yeah, you get some points for knowing that. Yeah, right on. You knew Flaw. Good job. Do you know I
Nice.
wrestled a bear once? Because if you knew I wrestled a bear once, you're the man. Let's move on. 5 meteorologists posted on a remote Russian island having been trapped for nearly 2 weeks by polar bears who have swarmed the area. The weather station is on one of the oh boy, Izvesity, Is, Ivanus Islands in the high Arctic, 2,800 miles from Moscow.
Izvetsky.
Sure. And there's no K in it, but okay. I wouldn't doubt it.
It's Russian, it's Izvetsky.
2,800 miles from Moscow and closer to northern Canada than the Russian capital. Um, Polar bears are not uncommon in the area, which is surrounded by pack ice in the winter, but the local population has more than doubled this year due to around a dozen. Wow.
Is that what they call ice that travels in groups? A pack of ice?
Pack ice? Just pack ice.
Oh, weird. All right.
I'd imagine if it traveled in groups, it would just be called trays.
A wild family of a tray of ice cubes.
Yes. And the stranded meteorologists have run out of their flares they use to scare off the beast. You know, this could be very compelling and very, like, probably more dramatic sounding than the football week. But because I keep interrupting myself and then you go on with your nonsense comments, this is just more of a shit show than anything else.
Yes, but it is frozen shit show.
A poopsicle.
Next time we throw the poop.
So, okay, polar bears are common in the area. The meteorologists are stranded. They ran out of flares. They were trying to scare off the bears with the flares. Uh, they ran out of them. The bears live in the Arctic. You know, we can't ban them from hanging around. Station supervisor name told NBC News by telephone from the. I mean, Vasily Shevchenko. Vasily Shevchenko told NBC News by telephone from the northern city of Arkansas. Worst case, worst case, the station chief has a gun. That is not Arkansas, but the first three letters are ARK, so it's Arkansas. Um, some of the bears have taken to sleeping right outside the windows of the remote outpost, according to Russian news agency, which spoke to some of the meteorologists via satellite phone. So the I guess the news agency spoke to him. Man, this is poorly written. Since going out
Well, I mean, they had to translate it.
fair. Since going outside amidst the animals is out of the question, the meteorologists have had to abandon some of their work. You think? While the meteorologists are not currently in immediate danger, the weather bureau in Arkansas itself, around 1,200 miles south of the islands and a week away by boat, is planning on sending a ship with more flares into. Wait, they're still there? They're still there.
Wow. I think they're in timeout. They have to be because I think Putin did it on purpose.
It says the meteorologists work in 1-year shifts, receiving supplies from the occasional ship that passes in their direction. Polar bears are endangered species. In Russia, it's a crime to shoot them unless in self-defense.
Ugh.
I mean, I think that's the animals suffer from global warming. I just want to put this part out there because it shrinks the floating ice that forms their main hunting ground. According to the environmental group, the Worldwide Fund for Nature, known as the WWF, this has prompted some polar bears to go near human habitats in search for food. So yeah, apparently the meteorologists are still there, still trapped by the polar bears.
Wow. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
could you imagine the small talk between 5 meteorologists that are stuck in an enclosed area with each other for like weeks on end? Like, imagine the gall that one of them would have in order to open up with, so how is the weather? I hate you, Boris. I always hated you.
And I stuffed your wife. I can't do it. Anyway.
I'll give your wife a polar bear. One that lives in my crotch. It is vicious. It is like Yogi Bear, but without the hat and way more chest hair. Smarter than the average dick.
Like Yogi Bear. Oh. Can we pause for a second?
Okay.
I want you to keep in mind the Yogi Bear theme and the smarter than the average dick theme. Because we got one more news story and then we got to name the episode and that's happening.
Well, I have kind of an idea for a name.
Okay, let me just get through this last story.
Okay.
Let's see if it changes anything.
Okay.
Okay, so this is in Germany. They
Oh, Dan, I have to switch accents?
they finally caught a guy who has been committing a crime for 7 years. I am not going to tell you the crime, but he does have a nickname, and you will win this round, whatever this is.
Okay.
If you can tell me either the nickname or the crime that he's committing. I'm hoping for the nickname.
Is he a naked Nazi?
No.
And is the 7-year crime indecent exposure?
No. No, but that's mighty racist of you. The Germans will not appreciate that. I'm going to let you know now. He is known as, and I'm not really sure what the crime is yet. We'll have to get into the article for that. Uh,
Okay.
the Paddling Pool Slasher.
Paddling pool slasher.
Yes.
That's a horror movie title if I ever heard of one.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, go to our Twitter page and put Pool Slasher yes or Pool Slasher no,
No, no, no, no. No, I will not be pool slashing anything.
and let's see if we can make this a horror movie. It's a little homage for Kevin Smith's Tusk, especially being that it's Halloween coming up soon.
Oh
Tusk
yeah,
is a fantastic movie. If you haven't caught it, check it out. It's weird,
weird.
so weird. Um, but it was created by him doing a podcast, coming up with this. You're reading an article online about something that happened in the UK and talking it over with his partner in the podcast and saying, this is the setting for a horror movie. If you want this to happen, type in Walrus yes. If not, Walrus no on Twitter. And enough people said Walrus yes, and the movie got made. And this whole setting was just like, wow, this is what happened for Kevin Smith.
Wow.
Maybe we could do the same thing, except we'll be successful. The movie was good.
Burn.
The movie was good, just not as many people thought. So I loved it. But anyway, yeah. So the paddling pool slasher, nabbed after 7 years. German police say. How many devastated, crying toddlers must there have been? Police believe they have nabbed the so-called paddling pool slasher, who terrorized a German community by damaging the inflatable items with knives for nearly 7 years. Old boy was just going around to inflatable kiddie pools and slashing them with a knife for seven
Oh,
years.
okay. I thought he was killing children in the pools.
No, no, that's the horror movie we're making.
Okay, because I was like, wow, that's a pretty weird MO that like he's just going around the backyards where there's like the kiddie pools and just like killing children in them. It's like, damn, dude, like
He has like a
7 years, catch this guy already.
he has like a fucked up backstory. Like as a kid, he never won in Marco Polo.
I can imagine that too. Like a kid is just like playing around in the pool and he just hears like some weird like voice over his shoulder going, Marco, and then just stabs the kid in the throat.
So, uh, we're making this movie, or at least we have the rights to it right now. This is copywritten as of right now. The rights to this
Kickstarter.
movie, yeah, this is our movie. No one steal this idea. We are going to make this movie someday, probably right after we go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
So, a 27-year-old suspect was questioned following an extensive police investigation involving numerous eyewitness accounts, authorities said. Officials said the suspect admitted to damaging between 20 and 30 plastic pools in the German area of Germany.
Of the German area of German.
Those are two very German words. Local media dubbed him the paddling pool slasher. The man stated that he did not plan the attacks and that he acted spontaneously. Even better.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was compelled. He had OCD.
Police spokesman Bjorn Schmidt told NBC News.
Bjorn Schmidt.
Bjorn.
Yeah, that's Bjorn.
His motive? Just for fun, police quoted the suspect as saying. Officials are also confiscated several blow-up plastic mattresses from the suspect's home, which had apparently been stolen during his slashing sprees. We cannot rule out that the man has some kind of fetish, Schmidt added. In a statement, police suggested that the complex investigation will take time and that it's not improbable that copycats were also involved. The suspect has not been yet charged. Oh, so I was actually wrong. He hasn't been charged yet, but clearly it's a crime
Wow.
of some sort.
Yeah, crime of passion, I suppose. I mean, it would be better if the community this took place in was called Poolschwitz.
Bullshit.
But c'est la vie. Yeah, like what would just there's got to be something that goes off into your head where you just see like an inflatable object in a pool and you think to yourself, oh man, I want to pop it. Like, sure, I've had those thoughts.
No,
But
it wasn't an object in a pool. It was the entire pool itself.
right, the pool itself.
Okay.
But like, I mean, sure, I've wanted to put a hole in it, but like, I've never acted on it.
Right.
I mean, not that I would admit. Certainly not going on an 8-year streak my damn self.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not caught. Thank you very much.
I didn't put a hole in it when it was inflated. I deflated it, filled it with mayonnaise, then put a hole in it, if you know what I mean.
Ah, I do, and gross.
Yeah, so that's clickbait news. I mean, that movie has to get made.
I kind of see like what's an actress that you want to see do a nude scene?
Kate Beckinsale.
All right, so we're gonna get Kate Beckinsale for this movie, and she's going to be running away at night from the pool slasher.
Can I change
And
my answer? Can I change my answer?
sure.
Kaylee Cuoco.
Oh my god.
All right, fine.
Fine.
Jessica Alba.
She won't do it.
That's the reason. Yeah, neither would Kate Beckinsale. This is the reason I'm picking these actresses.
Well, then in that case, Scarlett Johansson.
I guess so.
I do want to see some ScarJo titties.
Some Scar Joe Strange.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's a shame we can't call the movie Stranger Tides.
Damn shame. No, just seeing her like run away from the killer in like pitch blackness, and like she's all trying to find a place to hide, and you just hear it, the mockingness coming from the cold darkness, going, Marco, running away, and she doesn't know where he is because she's lost track, and she's like she can't pinpoint him. Marco. You would have her like whispering, just Marco.
And how does he pick out his victims? Is it just like they have to have an inflatable pool, or can it just be like so much as someone said polo, and it's like the Ring style? Like you watch this video, 7 days later you're gonna die. You say the word polo, 7 days later he's coming after you.
Or just victims named Marco.
Oh, that'd be creepy.
Yeah, right?
It's just Marco. Marco. Okay, I'm creeped out. You win.
You're welcome. My contribution to the cinematic world.
What's funny is now neither one of us can use that movie premise in an upcoming game we're going to be playing.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
I mean, might as well advertise, right? We have a doozy of a Halloween episode coming up for you guys. Um, it's probably kind of going to start next week. We'll probably getting closer to Halloween. We'll probably have some Halloween talk next week, and the Halloween episode will probably be dropped on the 27th. This way, it'll be out for Halloween.
Yeah.
So you guys can feel free to wait to listen to it on Halloween, or listen to it when it comes out, whatever. But it'll definitely be here in time for Halloween, and we got some cool things planned for it. So
Oh, yeah, some games to play, some topics of discussion. The celebration of all things horror and macabre.
yes, and macabre. So that is this week's edition of Side Splitters. What are we naming this monstrosity?
So I had an idea for the name, and I said it to myself in my head, and I almost lost it while we were recording.
What is it?
I want to call this episode Ham Wallets for Harambe.
100% yes.
Poor vilified Harambe, you will be missed. And can a silverback get a ham wallet?
Oh. So next week we have to talk Halloween costumes. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna put it in my notes. Halloween costumes is next week, leading up to Halloween, because there's a little side thing here, a little prep for next week. There is actually a sexy Harambe costume out there right now.
No.
Yep.
Oh no.
And the funny thing is it's just a gorilla costume for women, but of course it's named Sexy Harambe.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
Like,
Oh my god, man, people are too much.
too much awesome. Ham wallets for Harambe. Oh, that's great. So there you have it, folks. Episode 12 of Side Splitters this week, titled "Ham Wallets for Harambe." My name is Lyle.
And I'm incorrigibly Andy.
See you next week, folks.
Bye.